Hey guys, so for this video, I'm finally going to be doing a reaction to Rebel Moon. I saw that, trailer had come out probably a few weeks ago, but I've just never got around to actually watching it. I've been busy, but yeah, I decided to go ahead and react to it. And I'll probably do it twice so that I can get just watch it through the entire first time and then, take it slowly through the second time to get my thoughts. Yeah, let's get started. I'm excited for it. Of course I am. It's a Zack Snyder film, so I'm always excited. So, yeah, let's get started.
Do you know the story of the Princess Issa? In myth, she was called the Redeemer. It was said this child would stop the madness of war. That she was to usher in a new age of peace and compassion. I was given memories of a world I will never see. Loyalty to a king I cannot serve. And love for a child I could not save.
What do you think they want?
Everything.
I found her. The Scargiver.
I am a child of war. I was taught that love is weakness. There is a difference between justice and revenge.
There is a price to pay for your defiance.
Shh. One moment. I do love this part.
Hold on.
I don't want no trouble.
We're not here to bring any.
Are you ready?
You and I both know fear. Let's show them that we're not afraid. Let's show them we are more than the shackles that bind us.
A king is a man, and a man can fail. But a myth is indestructible.
The time has come for all that you love. Protect each other and show them no mercy.
Who among you is willing to die for what you believe?
Well, that was it, and of course I'm fucking excited for this. It was a good trailer, kind of gave you the sense of what it's going to be about, this whole revolution. It also kind of gave you a kind of a sense of the tone it's going to be. It's going to be more serious, I don't know, what with obviously trying to overthrow this tyrant, I guess, but also I think a lot of action. It's definitely going to be some fun action in it. And I mean, I'm sure probably a bit of humor, but the thing with Zack Snyder, his humor has always been more like, I guess, situational and his humor doesn't feel forced. So I feel like there's going to be some humorous moments, but it's just going to be based on, just the way that the characters interact with each other and the situations they're in. But yeah, let's go through a second time, because I was noticing a few things I was like thinking about while watching it. So let's go back. Okay, start. So already it reminds me of the cornfields from Man of Steel, of course, because Zack Snyder loves his like fields of, well, in this case, I'm assuming like wheat or something, some kind of plant, but just fields where people are just walking through it and running their fingers through the, you know, the plants and yeah. Already, I love the fucking music already. God, I think it's one of those, it's one of those instruments from like Australia, right? Can't remember what they're called. You know, the ones that you blow in. I love the sound of it. So, and of course, I already know Robbie the robot. I think that's his name. Something like a human name. And as he was going through, I was hearing what's his face? Anthony Hopkins talking, and then I remembered that he's the one who actually doing the voice for the robot. So love this shot. I don't know, you know, just him wearing like the horns and wearing like this cape, despite the fact he's a robot, he feels already very human, and so I feel like we're gonna get a more like, I guess, a deeper arc with him. He's not just a robot. I think he's gonna be like, he's gonna become more human, and you know, gonna be more conflicted. So I'm excited already. Beautiful shot.
Do you know the story of the Princess Issa?
Love the music.
In myth, she was called the Redeemer.
And of course, we're getting the whole like this like savior, or I'm assuming the hero arc. I know that Zack Snyder took a lot of inspiration from Joseph Campbell, right? And he does a whole like, I think he wrote an entire book on the hero arc. So I'm assuming this is kind of what we're going to be getting in this film.
It was said this child would stop the madness of war. That she was to usher in a new age of peace and compassion. I was given memories of a world I will never see. Loyalty to a king.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to what he's saying because I'm so distracted by the visuals. So
Cannot serve. And love for a child I could not save.
So is he a robot or is he like an android? Is he like, he was one time actual human, but was put in robot body, or does he just have like the memories of someone? But I'm definitely excited to see this because he talks about love of a child he couldn't save. So I'm assuming that's probably going to have a big influence on, you know, his character. I think it's going to be interesting. I always find this idea of like these sci-fi movies where there are androids who maybe at one time human, but their memories, their consciousness is placed in these androids, or AI that, you know, become sentient, I guess, and have their own personalities. They have their own like identity crises, and of course clones, when they're, you know, they're literally a clone of someone else, but then, you know, they eventually grow to be their own person. I always find that fascinating, so I'm definitely gonna think Robbie. I'm fairly certain it's Robbie. He's gonna be one of my favorite characters in this movie.
What do you think they want?
He's sure to love his farmers, doesn't he?
I found her. Scargiver.
Is that her name,
I am
Scargiver?
a child of war. I was taught that love is weakness.
Okay, I was thinking that haircut is horrendous, but this is definitely reminding me of Joan of Arc. The haircut just based on who was it? Fuck. Jovovich. God, I just have a hard time saying her name. But she plays in Joan of Arc, and that, her with the flag. That's reminding me a lot of. The scene is reminding me a lot of that. I could not help but laugh when I saw this because Twitter was so uncomfortably horny because they knew that they're gonna make like a creature with the body of a spider, but the top of a woman. I can't help but laugh.
There's a difference between justice and revenge.
I know these fight scenes with the, Spider Woman. I can't even remember what her name's going to be, but I definitely know this is going to be a cool fight scene.
There is a price to pay for your defiance.
Shh. One moment. I do love this part.
Hold on.
I don't want no trouble.
We're not here to bring any.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I saw the four-armed man. I definitely am excited to see all the creatures in this movie. Because unlike the MCU movies, I feel like they're actually going to put a lot of time and energy into all these different creatures. And they're going to be so cool.
You and I both know fear. Let's show them that we're not afraid.
And of course, Ray Fisher is in this. It would be interesting to see his character because I know who else. There's another woman character that I believe is supposed to be his sister. So it's going to be interesting seeing them. And of course, they have the Griffin. It's definitely going to be cool. It reminds me very much of of course, once again, Man of Steel, when they're on Krypton and they have the ring creature, but I guess now it's an actual Griffin.
Show them we are more than the shackles that bind us.
A king is a man, and a man can fail. But a myth is indestructible.
The time has come for all that you love. Protect each other and show them no mercy.
Yep, definitely interesting and see I know the relationship that Robbie's going to have with this girl. I know that obviously you're probably going to grow to love her and care for her. I'm not sure he eventually loses her or if, I think maybe, I think I saw online that she's going to be the one that kind of teaches him humanity and love because I believe, originally he was from the, the evil empire or whatever, the bad guys, but then he becomes good. Because someone teaches him humanity and love.
Who among
And of
you
course, it would never be a Zack Snyder movie without cape porn. Literally, doesn't matter if it's an actual cape, if it's just like a cloak or something. It's always going to be some porn, just like the flowing, cloth, and I love it. I love the fact that Man of Steel and BVS were a lot more realistic, but I am happy that they went a little bit extra on the capes. Obviously, capes weren't going to flow in like that, or at least not. I mean, I guess it could have been Kryptonian material that allowed it, but still, I loved it. So I'm excited to see this one, to see all the costumes and just the visuals.
Is willing to die for what you believe.
Ah, yes. I'm excited to see it, and I thank God that they filmed both of them at the same time, so that Netflix, can't chicken out and then just, not allow them to create the second part like the dumb motherfuckers at Warner Brothers did with Justice League. So I'm assuming this is probably going to be 3 hours, and then the second part's going to be 3 hours, but I'm fully invested. I'm going to watch that shit constantly. I'm just praying they actually put it in theaters for at least a small amount of time like they did with Army of the Dead. Trying to get my friend to come with me. She didn't really enjoy Man of Steel BVS just because it's not her kind of movie. She doesn't like the more serious movies, but I'm definitely going to try to force her to come to this one because I think, one, it would be amazing, and two, I think she'd genuinely like it. So yeah, can't wait for December. It's the only thing getting me through this shithole of a country that, where you're worried every day that, dumbasses in charge are going to blow it up. So this is what keeps me going, all these fun movies. Depressing. But anyways, that was my reaction to the Rebel Moon trailer. Obviously, this is just a teaser, so can't wait to see the actual trailer, the full trailer. So, yeah, you guys have a nice day. Stay safe out there, and talk to you later. Bye.